Okay, so what kind of situation do we have at the moment from a USD CHF perspective? Now, on the weekly time frame, what do we have? We have a market that is being trying basically to create this inverted head and shoulders after the market made this move to the upside and created an equal high. So from a weekly perspective, we can be looking for possible bullish price action. Let's go and see what we have on the monthly. If we go on the monthly, we can see that we have a completely opposite scenario. In fact, from a monthly perspective, what do we see? We see that the market broke below this structure and already went for a retest multiple times. You can see all these wicks basically rejecting which area? Rejecting this very strong resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4 times already. So on the monthly, we can expect a move to the downside. On the weekly, we can expect a move to the upside. That is already enough to stay on the sidelines until the time frames are aligning themselves. For example, if on the weekly we see a break below this support here, then at that point the weekly is aligning with the monthly and we can be looking for a move to the downside. So immediately we can understand that at the moment we have a situation of uncertainty in the market from a price action perspective. Now, if we go and see what we have on the daily, we can see that in fact that is reflected with a clear basically uncertainty pattern, because the market is currently creating higher lows and lower highs, basically consolidating in a wedge formation. Now, if we go and see what is the situation from a COT perspective, so what hedge funds are doing at the moment on the USD and what they're doing on the moment on the CHF, just to understand if basically we can gather some more informations on the current situation in this market. Now, from a CHF perspective, what we can see is with the last reports, market makers have closed in other more than 2K short positions and started to open some longs. Net positions overall are increasing from minus 3K, we're now at 7K, but not much change from a CHF perspective. So nothing really noticeable that we can take from the CHF. If we look at what we have from a US dollar index, we can see that as well, there is nothing really interesting going on. A lot of hedging, a lot of longs getting closed and a lot of shorts getting closed. And as you can see, positions are correlating. Are correlating. So if they're adding longs, they're adding also shorts. So clearly there has been and there is going on a lot of hedging from a US dollar perspective. And anyway, we didn't expect to see something clear because from a price action and structure perspective, things are not clear. However, remember from the monthly, on the monthly we have resistance. Now, how would things be aligning themselves? If, as we said earlier, on the weekly we will see a push to the downside. Then also on the daily we will see a push to the downside. And on the monthly we already are in a bearish market. Therefore, if we will actually see the market break below this trend line, basically break the wedge formation to the downside, on the weekly we will have the move to the downside. So the weekly will align with the monthly, the daily will align with the monthly and the weekly, and at that point on the retest or after a small retracement, doesn't really matter how basically low the impulse will be. What we will be doing with students, we will be monitoring price action from a 4-hour perspective, waiting for the market to provide to us one of our valid entries. And as soon as the market will provide to us one of our valid entries, we will be taking a nice short with a very good risk to reward and good probabilities at that point for a move to the downside, because the different time frames are aligning themselves. Now, if the market from here will move to the upside, then anyway, the monthly has resistance, so I'm not interested in a move to the upside because there aren't good probabilities. And as you know, trading is a game of probabilities and risk to reward. If you don't have good probabilities or good risk to reward, it's never worth it to enter the market. Now, if you enjoyed this free analysis and education, make sure to drop a like and a comment. It really does support the creation of more free education and analysis for all of you, and I will see you in the next video.